Alright, so it's my second video today, but this is Do Piercings Hurt? Nostrils. Before we even start, yes, nostril piercings hurt like a bitch. They are not the most painful, but they hurt. And the surprising thing is, lots of people have nostril piercings. They're like the most popular piercings. But then, like, you know, people have their noses pierced and then they're scared to get, like, a Medusa or a lip ring or something. Please, if you've had your nose pierced, you can do them all. Maybe not septum, but if you've had your nose pierced, you're good. You can handle any other piercing. It's my nose piercing experience. I've had my nose pierced twice. The first time, it was the night before the first day of senior year. And I did this like in such like a bad way. I don't even know why I did it. This is how it happened. I had a stud. I used the worst kinds of studs. They're just the skinny studs with like a ball on the end. You know, I like the nose screws that have a twist and stuff. But there are some that just have like a bigger ball on the ends. You just shove it through, and then like the big ball is supposed to keep it from coming out. First of all, those kinds of piercing or studs do a lot of damage because it's like shoving a bigger stud right through your nose. Plus, I don't really see, it doesn't keep them in that well because it can push them back out. So like my problem then was if I ever flared my nostrils or something, it'd stick it right back out. So it just comes shooting out and I'd have to find it, clean it, put it back in. So my first nose piercing didn't last a long time. But the way I pierced it was I just sharpened the end of the stud and put it through my nose. It was awful, and it was stupid, and I will never do it again. This was before I had any equipment or even knew anything about piercings. So this was my big, stupid piercing. It was healing really well. It didn't hurt. But it didn't work out well. I would not recommend anybody to use that kind of stud, and definitely not that piercing method. It was bad. Sorry, my shoe's coming inside. Anyway, ooh, squeaky shoe. Anyway, I'm moving back a little bit. It was just absolutely awful. Nobody pierced their nose that way, and nobody used those things. But the first time, I didn't notice a lot of pain, which was surprising, because it's super painful the second time. But I think it hurts less when you do it yourself, because number one, you know when the pain's coming, like you know what you're going to do. And number two, you're concentrating so hard on doing the piercing the right way that you're not really worried about, like, messing up. Or that you're not really worried about the pain. You're just worried about holding still and not messing up. So yeah, I had that in, and I kept it in, like, a couple of weeks. I had it not that long. I just got so sick, like, every time, like, I scrunched my nose or flared my nostrils or laughed, it would just, boo, like, shoot up and just be hanging there, and I'd have to push it down, and it wouldn't stay in. So it was just really annoying and a hassle, and I decided that it wasn't worth it. But that was my first piercing, was my nose piercing. The second time was this year, probably, what do I want to say? This year around March? No, it's January. Yeah, I got it in January. Definitely January, because I was still living with my friend who turned out to be a total bitch. But yeah, so it was like January of this year. I got it pierced like a week and a half or 2 weeks before my Medusa, so, but it was, I don't even remember what side it was on. She pierced it. It was a piercer that I was going to do the apprenticeship with, and turns out she's a really bad piercer. I've seen more people who've been pierced by her that are infected than I've seen people that have good piercings from her. Like, all her piercings get infected. She called me, like, her little bitch. Like, I went in there and pierced, and she was like, all right, little bitch, now don't move. And I mean, that was just, if I know her, if I've known a person for a while and they call me bitch, sure, it's a joke, but it was stupid. She wanted me to pay her $2,000 up front before she taught me how to pierce, and her other apprentices, all they were janitors. Like, they weren't even piercing anybody or learning how to. They were just her janitors. And eventually what she does is accuses them all of stealing and kicks them out and keeps their money. Scam? I think so. Anyway, I didn't give her a single penny. Thankfully, I got out while I could. I ran. I got out alive. But it hurt so bad. She shoved a cork up my nose and then just stabbed my nose. She shoved it through, and it hurt. Like, tears were coming down my eyes, not because of the pain, but because, again, your nose will make you tear up. But she was just so, like, brutal about it, and I like it when it gets pierced with a ring, and she told me that she wasn't going to pierce me with the ring. She was going to pierce me with the gem stud. And then she charged me for the gem stud, but whatever. Really shitty piercer. Never went back to her again. Ever, ever, ever. I went in for a tongue piercing, and she told me if she pierced my tongue, I would bleed to death on her table. Like, okay. And, so I got a nose piercing. But, oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. And I'm good at taking care of piercings. I've had plenty. I know how to take care of them. I'd been treating this piercing for forever. All the way up to, like, what was it? I probably took it out. I had it 4 or 5 months, and it wouldn't heal. And after 5 months of having it and taking really good care of it, I took it out because I was going to put in a hoop because I was sick of the stud. Like, it stuck out and it was getting caught on everything, so I was going to put in a hoop. The instant I took it out, it just bled, and it was pussy. And I had taken very good care of this piercing, and I knew how to take care of them. But, like, she used snap-on kind of nose screws, and it traps, like, a bunch of dead tissue inside the piercing. Like, it was bad. She was a bad piercer, and it was a bad piercing, and it didn't work well. I didn't see her open a package to get the cork out that she shoved up there. I just saw her grab it from a jar, like, that only had a couple chilling in the bottom. I didn't see her throw it away afterwards, so she could have been reusing all of her equipment to save money. I don't know. She was a juggalo. Ugh. That should have been my first sign, but her piercings were cheap. Not a good idea, but I was super broke. Anyway, nose piercings hurt. They look pretty, not on everybody. I have a fat, squat little nose, so nose piercings, not the prettiest piercings on me, but they look really good on, like, any really pretty, like, bohemian girl when they have, like, a pretty nose ring and stuff. I'm getting closer again. But, yeah, so nose piercings hurt for me. Probably 7.5 or 8 on the pain scale. Unpleasant. But yeah, I want to hear about your guys' piercing experiences too. So just post them down there or send me a message because I don't know. I just want to hear about your guys' piercing experience. Tell me, like, nose, angel bites, Monroe's, lips, snake bites, Medusas, anything. Anything that you guys have pierced, even if it's like a weird piercing. I totally want to hear about, like, all the creepy woohoo piercings. So yeah, just please share your stories with me. I am dying to hear about them. So next time I come back, we're going to talk about anti-eyebrow piercings, which it's no longer here anymore, so some people are probably like, what is she pointing at? I had an anti-eyebrow piercing. It was really, really pretty, but I'll share that horror story with you guys next video. So, bye!